All right. Let me just check YouTube and make sure everything's good. All right, we're all good. What's going on, guys? Sithis here, and I'm here with me and my friends, with my friend Hemlock and Wizard Time. And first off, right out the bat, I just want to say rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. You know, it was really, really messed up what happened to him. So, first off, I just want to say rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. But today, we're not going to be mourning his death. Today, we're going to be celebrating his life by reacting to his best moments. So, first off, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is KingSithis. I am a YouTuber, anarcho-capitalist, libertarian. I've been on YouTube for about a year now, and I make anarcho-capitalist content. And my friends here, I'm with my friends here. Hemlock, do you want to plug yourself and introduce yourself?
I have a channel called Hemlock. I have some Ancap videos, but honestly, I'm working on my album, so I probably won't make Ancap videos for like maybe 2 months. But I have a channel, so you can subscribe.
All right, Wizard Time.
Yeah, I've been on Ancap for 3 years. I do not really have any media, social media of any kind, so that's about it from me.
Yeah, so we're Ancaps. We don't agree with Charlie on on everything, but we do think it was pretty messed up what happened to him. And I used to be a big fan of Charlie Kirk when I used to be a Republican. I used to like him a lot. But, as I became more libertarian, I stopped really watching him. But I've always had a bit of a respect for him because the guy was very smart. He's a really good debater. And, he was willing. One thing I liked about him was that he was always willing to debate people and jump on. And anytime that anyone wanted to debate him, he would have like these events that people would just come up to him and debate him and challenge him on his beliefs, which I thought was really, really cool. And that was kind of the reason why I liked Charlie, even though I didn't fully agree with him. And to see what happened to him was like really, really sad. Anything you guys want to say about Charlie before we get into it?
Well, I haven't heard a lot from. I've seen maybe some of his stuff from like the Red Pill sphere, the Manosphere or whatever. But in general, no, I'm not really familiar with his argument. But in hindsight, I just have to add that it was very brave to go out and debate these people because you have some people who are literally celebrating his assassination. It's not death, right? They're celebrating his assassination, literally. And I think that's a little concerning.
Yeah, and to all those people out there who are like celebrating his death, you guys seriously need to take a good look at your guys' selves in the mirror. Like that shit's fucked up and it's not cool.
Yeah, people say it's for their ideological beliefs. I think it's mental illness, or is there something very wrong with these people? This is just a man. This is a Christian man who just defends American values.
Yeah,
and he just died. Like he's like some random guy you could barbecue with, and he died. Like you can't be laughing at this. What the fuck?
Yeah. He seems like a family man.
He does. He has 2 kids.
Yeah. He was a wife and 2 kids. And his thing was basically just going into college campuses and debating people. He was a huge Trump supporter. He did everything he could to get Trump in office. So, he was just a regular conservative. In fact, a lot of the arguments that I heard from like a lot of the complaints that I heard from a lot of like Republicans is that he wasn't like, what did they say? Extreme enough, right? You know what I'm saying? And then on the left side, people were looking at him like he was too extreme. But I felt like most of his views weren't even really that extreme. Like they were just normal, I guess, conservative talking points. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he gets strawmanned a lot. Well, a lot of people who are honest get strawmanned. So it's like when he was, I think there was some point in a debate where he was talking about DEI, and he was talking about how if he sees a black pilot, sometimes he might be concerned about the competency of that black pilot. But the thing is, they tried to strawman him and say, oh, he's being racist against black pilots. Like, no, he's concerned that pilot was hired on the basis of his skin color and not his skill as a pilot, right? Yeah. So, and people strawman him like that in a million different ways. And it's very unfortunate people do this after he died and can't defend himself. It's very cowardly.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty messed up. And there was another thing that they were saying, like, oh, like he said, oh, it's okay for people to die for gun deaths, you know, just to keep the Second Amendment. But I think that what he was really trying to say was that, you know, sometimes in life you have with freedom, there kind of comes with a bit of risk with that freedom. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, yeah, like for instance, like with cars, right? If you have a car, yeah, there's by allowing cars to be legal, yeah, there's going to be chances that like people or even children are going to die because of car accidents. But we kind of don't. We're not going to just ban cars because you know because people die from it. Like sometimes we kind of look past some of the risk because we're okay with having that freedom. And that's how he kind of looked at guns, and people kind of took that and spin that as him being like okay with like killing children or letting children die.
I mean, in the tweet where he said what he said, he said it was unfortunate that these children died. He's not okay with children dying. He just wants to defend the Second Amendment. Like if you think about it, how is getting rid of legal gun ownership gonna prevent children from being shot? If anything, it just makes people defenseless against people with guns, right? So it's just very
and most of these people who are committing crimes, they don't give a shit about gun laws. If you make a gun illegal, they're just gonna get a gun anyway. So yeah.
What people are forgetting, right, is that like America was founded on an idea to prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery.
Yeah,
because that's how America started, right? And the gun thing, right, is that schools aren't, teachers aren't allowed to have guns. Security guards are not allowed to have guns. Police don't want to go in there. Quite recently, there was a scandal about some shooting or whatever, where a police officer was literally scrolling through TikTok while clearing the building.
Yeah,
it was captured on the camera feed.
Yeah.
And so, what do you even say to that?
There was a few times where that happened.
Yeah, no, I like Michael Malice's debate with Angry Cops. He absolutely demolished him in that debate because Angry Cops just didn't make any arguments. But like the primary argument there that Michael Malice made was that the police isn't there to protect you. It's not in their interest. So you need to protect yourself. You need to pay people to protect you directly. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Otherwise, you get incompetence.
Yep. Well, anyways,
I mean,
I was just gonna. Go ahead.
No, I was just adding that a similar thing happened in the Texas school shooting. In some Texas school shooting, I think it was, I forgot what's the city's name. It's like Uvalde or something.
Uvalde, something like that, where the police were kind of just sitting back. They had a lot of police there too.
Yeah, they had police there. They were doing nothing. They were like, they like stalled for like an hour and didn't try to save the kids. That's like.
No, they were preventing parents from going in there. Parents.
Exactly.
You know, like ideally, what you would want, right? If you have all these police officers with guns, you would expect them to bum rush that guy with all their weapons, you know, one after another, get in there to try to stop that guy from shooting those people. But they were too scared. And I get it's a scary situation, right? But
if I was a parent,
that's the point of being a police officer, right? Like to put yourself in harm's way to save other people's lives. And if those people weren't ready to put yourselves in harm's way to save other people's lives, then maybe they shouldn't have been a police officer. Maybe they should have been, something else. But that's just my opinion, you know.
Yeah, well, if there's one lone shooter and there's 10 other police officers, jump him.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
That's what I'm saying.
Jump.
They should have ran in there. They should have all like went in at once or like one after another, and like that one guy wouldn't be able to take on all of those officers. Yeah, maybe one of them would have gotten shot, but it would have been better than all the other kids getting. But anyways, we're going on a tangent.
Okay,
we're going on. We're going on a bit of a tangent. The reason why we're here is to celebrate Charlie's life and to react to his best moments. I have a couple videos here of his best moments and stuff like that. Some that my friends sent me. This is the first one that kind of popped up, so we're gonna watch it. This may not be like the most optimal videos, but this is just kind of the videos that I found kind of just looking through. So we're gonna react to Charlie Kirk, give our opinions, and yeah, that's it. So you guys ready?
Yep.
All right, let's do this.
Out the It's not about the cells.
No,
it's not about. No. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
Want to say it one more time?
No, I'm speaking.
Hello, everyone. I am Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, and I am surrounded by 20 woke college kids. A woman is an adult female with XX chromosomes.
No, I'm speaking. No, I'm speaking. No, I'm speaking. No, I'm speaking. My goodness. Yeah, you can already tell this is going to be a little bit heated, huh? All right.
Good debate tactic.
Yeah.
A woman is an adult female with XX chromosomes. You tell me, what is a woman?
I think a woman is somebody who identifies as a woman.
Got it. So that's not a definition. That's like saying a table is something that identifies as a table. Give me an objective definition of
No, it's not. A table is an object.
Well,
A table can't identify as anything. It doesn't have choice.
You have to give me an objective definition of what a woman is.
If I decided right now that I wanted to identify as a woman, I would be a woman.
Okay, but that doesn't answer the question.
I know, but right now I'm a man, right? So if that happened right now, I'd be a woman. So once a person makes the decision to identify as a woman,
got it. No,
they're a woman.
That's a separate issue. What is a woman?
That's the definition.
No, I know, but you have to tell me what.
A person who identifies themselves as a woman.
But you have how do you know that they are that thing?
How do I don't need to know what they. I can ask them if I want to know.
But there needs to be. You need to tell me what that thing is, though.
Somebody who.
Okay,
sorry, we're not getting anywhere. We're not getting anywhere.
Well, no, it's important because it's like saying a giraffe is a thing that looks like a giraffe, or a coyote is a thing that looks like a coyote. It's called circular reasoning. You have to give me a actual definition.
I don't.
100%.
I did give you a definition.
No, you said that a woman.
Yeah, so it seems like this guy. I don't think he's understanding, or girl. I don't know what he is, but I don't think he's really understanding what Charlie's asking him. You know, you could say, "Oh, a woman is a person that identifies as a woman," but Charlie is trying to ask him, "What is a woman?" You can't just say something that identifies as a woman. That's like a dog. Oh, what's a dog? Oh, a dog is a person that identifies as a dog. Yeah, but what is that?
A person that identifies as a dog is a dog. Genius.
But what is that? You have to define what that is.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. If you make it subjective, what happens when people just disagree? This doesn't solve the problem.
Yeah. What if I say, I don't think you're a dog.
Yeah, of using the same terms. And hold on, why is it that you're allowed to self-identify as a woman, but you're not allowed to self-identify someone else as a woman?
That is a good question. I mean, it's nominalism, right? You're basically saying that reality is inside your head.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I'm not even against that view. I just wish they would be more consistent. Like, sure, I'll just identify you as a woman whenever I want to, you know? Just,
I mean, the problems of subjectivity, like, it's the idea that biology is fucking subjective. Well, here's what I don't understand. What are the red flags? I'm kind of confused by that. Why is everybody waving a red flag as if that means anything?
Oh, Jubilee. So to explain what happens under Jubilee, so basically, one person it's like a kind of like a game show where there's like 20 people around him who disagree with him. The first person who jumps on the chair gets to debate him, and if enough people raise their flag and vote him out, then he gets out, basically. So the person is raising their flag because they want to go next.
Even his side is saying that the argument is bad.
Yeah, basically, they think the arguments that he's making is bad. So I think the one thing with these people is I think what these people are trying to do, right, is that they want to call trans women actual women, like biological women, but they aren't actual biological women. They're men who transition to a woman, which is whatever. I'm not necessarily against that or ethically opposed to that. But fundamentally, you're not actually a biological woman. But these people want to call them biological women. So so what they're trying to do is like change the definition of woman to try to fit that.
Well, I don't think that. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that they literally think a biological man is the same thing as a biological woman. It's that they want like a trans woman to be like in equal sort of status to a biological woman,
to be viewed as the same.
Yeah, to be viewed as the same thing. Yeah, but they're just not like first of all they're just not gonna get pregnant. That's sort of like a foundation of civilization. I mean, this is not. It's not like gender some arbitrary thing. But anyways, sorry.
Yeah, and the thing is, you get into some dicey situations because, like, if you identify as a woman, and you just say that person is a woman, like even though they're biologically a male, Like, what if the girl goes, like, it gets arrested and goes into like, are we going to put the man into a female prison now?
That happened.
Yeah,
He
and
impregnated all of the inmates.
so yeah,
Like,
yeah, that is true.
it
They
was-
impregnated, so and now they're trying to like hand out condoms into female prisons. At some point, you have to
Yeah,
like, you have to acknowledge the reality of the situation. You can't just sit there and close your eyes and expect the world to fit your mold. You have to be real to the reality. And when these people,
Yeah, but I think
they're not
Yeah,
really
but
being realistic.
well, I think what they're saying is that gender is a subjective construct. It's like the subjectivity of it sort of comes before any biological real facts. So it's like, okay, we can just reinvent everything to our subjective desires if we want to. So, but that's what they think. I mean,
Yeah.
problem is I don't think you could just separate the subjective concepts from the biological patterns.
Yeah, and you can identify as whatever you want, but there are certain like biological factors that you can't really change, like especially for like women in sports and stuff like that. If you have a man or that was identifying as a man and then they identify as a woman, they still have all those physiological features of a man. So it's just not fair to put those people in the same category because they have like all this advantage, so. But yeah. Anything else you guys want to say?
No, I'm pretty interested in the rest of the arguments. Maybe I don't know what they're trying to go with here.
Yeah. All right, let's continue.
Woman is something that thinks they're a woman. That doesn't give me a definition.
Do you feel proud of yourself for debating college kids who are unprepared to speak in front of an audience like yourself? Hold on. You're 30 years old. We can agree you're 30 years old, right? Do you think that's a little bit silly?
Are you a voter?
I am a voter. I'm a registered
I
voter.
vote and you vote. So I'm talking to voters of this country that will determine the future of Western civilization. That's what I'm doing here today. Yeah?
I think it's kind of funny for when people say, because people say this about Ben Shapiro too and other political commentators that go to college campuses and then they have like these Q&As where they have these back and forths and then these guys, because they're very knowledgeable about their beliefs and they're good at debating, they tend to like kind of destroy these kids. And they'd be like, oh, you're just going to college campuses and destroying these college students. But what people don't like to remember is that these people are adults. You know what I'm saying? So what are people not supposed to just debate college students? Are college students like teenagers? Or it's one thing if they were going to like a high school or a middle school and like, oh, look at these stupid middle schooler, SJW got owned.
Oh, but look at these ignorant kindergarteners.
Yeah, but no, these are adults. College students are adults. So I don't see why it's like that ridiculous for him to go in.
And it's like, okay, sorry, Wizard.
Look, they want to be treated like adults when they like to be treated like adults, and when it doesn't suit them, they want to be considered children again.
Yeah.
Like they want to have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah, they want to be agents, but they also want to be victims,
But he has a good point. Like, yeah, you can vote. Your vote is as equal as mine. The flaw of democracy, right?
yeah, which is diabolical.
Right? Yeah. Her vote is just as good as his vote. That's the flaw of democracy.
Yeah, but he should be embarrassed because he's 30 years old talking to kids, quote unquote.
Yeah, but that woman is an adult. Like that's the one, like you said earlier, like these people want all the rewards of being an adult, but then when they fuck up or do something stupid, they want to fall back on, well, I was young, I'm a teenager, I'm just a kid, you know what I mean? But it's just like, dude, you're an adult, you're above 18, you went up to the stage, you decided to debate him. If you get owned, right? Hey, that's on you, man.
Yeah, no. Lack of responsibility. They don't want any responsibility, like any kind of consequences or responsibility for their own actions. That is like an alien.
I mean, it's not even about him being 30 years old and her being like 20 or whatever. Like, look at the difference in the size of their foreheads. Clearly, Charlie Kirk's brain is bigger. I mean, come on. That's why he's a mammoth. He's an intellectual. You can tell he's an intellectual.
Yo, he's a master debater.
He's mega mind, bro.
All right, let's continue.
Wait, hold on. How is it any different than a professor talking
I'm gonna turn it
to
back
you?
just a little bit.
This country that will determine the future of Western civilization. That's what I'm doing here today. Yeah? Wait, hold on. How is it any different than a professor talking to you?
Then a professor talking to you? Who are you?
Well, important enough for you to come up to a microphone.
You create a company.
Who
that's
are you?
Like close to being
That's
a
so
fascist,
silly.
and then like.
Okay. Well, how am I?
Sorry.
Let's go
Sorry,
through this.
I'll turn it back. I didn't even hear what he said.
Important enough for you to come up to a microphone.
You create a company that's like close to being a fascist, and then like.
Okay. Well, how am I?
Sorry.
Let's go through this. How am I a fascist?
Oh yeah.
Dude, like
Can you name one thing I believe that's fascist?
Oh, he
you
stuttered. The
believe
first
that,
thing.
like you on.
You want to say something?
No, I'll say it's like it's like Charlie Kirk asks him a basic question and he stutters. That's really that is so bro. He stutters and he stutters a second time. That's crazy.
You know, the thing about that I think is kind of funny is that these people have time to think of their questions before they come up. You know what I'm saying? It's
they're
not like,
lining up. Yeah.
yeah, like you know, you have time. Like if you're gonna go up to somebody and call them a fascist, of course, the first question that they're gonna be like, if they don't actually identify as a fascist, how the hell am I a fascist? How am I a fascist? Did he not like have an argument lined up ready to be like, okay, well, you're a fascist because of this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason. You know what I'm saying? Like he can't even think of one reason. He's like dumbfounded.
I mean, you can call it stage fright or whatever, but I'm more of the opinion that these people think that like insulting someone as a fascist or whatever, you know, like Nazi, fascist, bigot.
It's like a win condition.
They think that's an argument.
Yeah.
Like if you remember, like Rothbard and Mises were called like Nazi sympathizers, right? Like these people, like okay, so you have two Jew refugees, right, who were running away from the Nazi regime, go to America, right, and then basically in the classical liberal fashion, at least for Mises, right, he goes against, you know, like defines the economic calculation problem, and he still gets called a Nazi as if that's an argument, and that was back in like the 1900s, like what was it, 1950 or something like that, right? That's crazy, and it still continues to this day, right? Because like these people think. And I think there was a study about this, but these people literally think that their emotional response constitutes an argument. Oh, I feel bad about X thing, therefore X thing shouldn't exist. If I pretend X thing doesn't exist, all is good now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think their brain is like they're not using their minds to construct, you know, a syllogistic argument. They don't have they don't have a logical chain set up. They just have, okay, you know, emotional stimulus. Okay, okay, that's negative.
These are the people celebrating that he has been murdered, basically. Like this is what we're working with.
You know, I think the main reason why they're celebrating is now they can't get destroyed by him anymore. Now you know what I'm saying? It's just like, yes, they took this guy out. Now we can't get destroyed by him anymore. Now, we got to debate other guys.
I mean, clearly, I know what it is. It's because Charlie Kirk was a different species of human. See how big his brain is. His brain is the size of a mammoth. Okay, this guy's brain. See, everyone on stage so far has had such small brains compared to Charlie Kirk. Look how small their skulls are. Charlie Kirk is just a superhuman.
Yes, he's the one supervillain that's like a super genius and he has like a big brain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Megamind.
Yeah. Anyways, let's continue.
I just have to point out. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Hey, and anytime you guys want me to pause, just say yo 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 or something like that.
But
I'm such a bad fascist. I let the people who disagree in open mic to talk to me for 2 hours uninterrupted.
Okay.
I'm an awful fascist. I'm more like a free speech liberal of the 1970s, not a fascist.
But I just want to say Turning Point USA is a evil company that was funded by thousands of fracking companies, and that just...
Good.
No, it's not thousands, but we
fracking
do have some frackers that give us money.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and then all it is making the rich more rich.
Fascism to fracking.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
Okay, again, I'm happy to have a debate. I can see you're getting kind of fired up.
I'm sorry.
So, but why are we evil? Like, we're having a nice discussion.
Because
all of a sudden you're calling me like
because
a fascist.
it seems like you just want the rich get even more rich. Like
we haven't talked about the rich.
What's wrong with selling oil?
I mean, so you don't even know my positions on this stuff.
What's wrong with fracking? I don't see what the big deal is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and also, what's wrong with getting rich by selling energy? Since when is that a bad thing?
Rich people get richer. I mean, that's the investment cycle. Like if I plant like 90 kilograms of seed and only eat 10, right?
Yeah.
I'm rich. I have 100 kilograms of fucking wheat or whatever, and I planted 90, and then I will get even richer.
Well, how dare you store your seeds away and not give it away to other people? Come on,
I will sell it, but I'm getting richer. That's the point.
How dare you not give away everything for free? Come on, you can't accumulate wealth. That's terrible. That's so
evil. Yeah, profit is
evil.
theft.
Yeah.
Don't you know?
Yeah. You know what's kind of crazy that I hear from a lot of people is, oh, the rich are getting richer, but the poor are getting poorer. But that's not necessarily true. In fact, the poor are actually getting richer. If you look at the amount of people who are in poverty, it's going down. It's not going up. You know,
it has always been only going down. Like technological, like people conflate technological progress with democracy. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, we got democracy and now we have technological progress, but that's not the case. Right, because like you had mercantilism. The end of mercantilism marks the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Right? Mm-hmm. It's not the beginning of democracy. It's the end of mercantilism. Right? And it's
mercantilism is that. Wait, can you explain what mercantilism is?
Oh, well, very briefly, mercantilism is basically the old system, the good old days, basically, of where certain merchants or merchant families were hereditarily merchant, right? And they were working with the then kings and queens, the interest parties, right? And only they could operate as merchants.
I see, okay.
Now, see, the thing is, kings back then couldn't really go into everybody's home and regulate what they sell or whatever, right? So, obviously, there's going to be a lot of black markets, but the taxation was basically disproportionately favoring the preferred parties or merchants, right? Kind of like the origins of how Jews became expelled from Europe, right? if anybody's ever done history on that, because of usury and stuff like that, right? That's where the bourgeoisie comes from, right? Bourgeoisie are basically the Borgs, or the people who live in the cities. And those were, the mercantilism preferred those people over everybody else. So they were taxed less. And when that ended, like if you think about it, Gutenberg's fucking printing press, right? Everybody was against it. The church was lobbying heavily to stop him from printing the books, right? Because the first book he printed was the Bible. Gutenberg. It was like 1800 something.
Hold on, let me look it up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways, oh, go ahead.
Sorry. He invented the printing press. Okay, I see.
I mean, it's a bit of a tangent, but I think it's very interesting to think about this, right? Because like every time you have a new technology, right, the first people to go into that are the ones that benefit. Yeah, it's the rich that benefit, but it's the rich that hold all the risks, the investment costs, the research costs. They have to pay like workers, researchers themselves. They have to feed themselves, the family, everybody, right? There's so much risk involved, huge amounts of capital, right? But soon, like even some of the poorest people, right, nowadays have access to like modern roads, modern technology, phones, cars, right? Back when that was only the rich people, right? So basically just deciding that magically all of a sudden we all deserve like Bugattis or whatever, that doesn't make it so. That like doesn't I think I should own a Bugatti, but that Bugattis are rare and that's why they're expensive.
There's not a single Dark Age king who has access to who had access to ChatGPT. I mean, come on. I would gladly pick ChatGPT over being a prince in the 1500s. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, definitely. So the rich will get richer. That's just reality. Like
but the problem is like egalitarians will be like, oh, we need to redistribute wealth. But my thing is, okay, why not just make everyone rich instead of redistributing wealth? Like, why not just create more wealth instead of redistributing it?
Well, because it's easier to take wealth than it is to create wealth.
That is a good point.
Anyways, let's continue.
More rich. Like
we haven't talked about the rich at all. I mean, so you don't even know my positions on this stuff. Under no circumstance ever should a man ever let a woman pay for a date, or you should split ever. No circumstance.
Even on the third, fourth, fifth.
What if it's the first date and you're just not into
for anything?
Okay, well let me.
Period.
Well, let me. Okay, so
what kind of world are we living in?
Well, hold on a second. I agree with you. If I'm dating a girl, I would pay for everything.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. However, I could see for other people that might be in a different financial position, you know, you pay for 10 dates and then she's like, you know what, I want to treat you.
Well,
I think that's so sweet,
that's totally different. No, what we're talking about is like, oh, we're going to alternate. Like, well, what's your serious and she wants to take you out to something for a nice dinner. And you might, by the way, if you have the intent to marry, you're already like kind of blending finances. Like, I get that psychologically. But like, if you're like, oh, we'll take turns. Like, oh, well, you know, you pay this time, I pay this time.
What's your advice to a girl who the guy she's currently seeing, he says that?
Oh, do not marry that man.
But here's the thing. I feel like they should always
break it off.
But they should offer. They should pull out the credit card.
The woman? Of course not.
Just to offer.
No.
It's a nice gesture.
No, by the way, no. This is feminism. Feminism is that you have to be this like self-independent. This is not a nice gesture. It's you trying to be like egalitarian. No. You as women should want to be provided for. In fact, you should have an expectation that you as a woman are so important and so critical and so necessary and beautiful that it shouldn't even be a question.
Do you view democracy as an American value?
So do you guys think
I think
guys
we're
should,
gonna disagree with Yeah, we don't. I don't think we agree. Like what? Okay, so what? You exist as a woman. What? Because you have a vagina, people should just pay you for things? People should just buy you things? Like what? Like I don't get it.
Me personally, I think that men should pay for the women to take them out if they are asking them out, right? But if you're just friends, then no, you don't have to pay for her, right? If you're just friends, but if you're
but he's talking about the context of like a romantic relationship. So,
I think guys should pay personally, but this is just my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
I think the person who pursues, I guess it would make sense for that person to pay.
Yeah,
because you're pursuing someone and you're trying to convince someone to like be with you, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
I don't think it's like, oh, the man must pay. Like I don't really agree with that. But
I think that
I don't agree that. Yeah, I don't agree that the man must pay. I mean, I think it's kind of like an unspoken kind of communication. I mean, if the woman's working, and she wants to do certain things, right? I don't see why would you feel less of a man if she offers to pay? And I don't think I don't think she should be entitled to be offered resources and investment, right? You need to offer something in return. Like, I wouldn't call that. What was Kirk's argument? He said feminism or egalitarian. Yes. I don't think so. Like, I think it's more feminist to basically go, "Oh, I'm entitled to everything." Which, in a sense,
exactly.
Biologically speaking, women are, they're born with value, right? They're born on top of a hill, right? And men are born in the valley, right? Men climb the hill, and women are going down, right, as they age. That's just biology, right? Mm-hmm. So I think there is an argument to be made, right, that okay, women should be entitled to a certain level of provision, of course, right? But it's all a thing of choice. Mm-hmm. I don't think there is a must here. You must do X. No, it's a choice.
Yeah, me personally, this is just advice that I give to any guy. And obviously, like, when I say you should, I don't mean like you're obligated to or you have to. But I think, like, if I was to give a regular guy advice, I'd be like, yeah, you probably should take, if you're going to ask a girl or you want a girl to be with you or you are, like, courting a woman, I think you should probably pay for the date because that's going to make you look better. One. And two, it's just going to make you look better, and it's just it's going to improve your chances, I would say. But I would also say don't invest in a woman unless you feel that there's some sort of end goal in the relationship. So for instance, there are some women that will like act like they like you, right? Just so that you can take them out on dates and stuff like that. If you feel like this woman is not what you calling it, like if you feel like this woman is like just using you for your money or taking advantage of you, then no, don't pay for her anymore. Just leave or don't pay for her anymore.
I mean, you don't have to spend money on a date. You could just take someone out to like a park or something. You know, have
or
a
there's
walk.
something like that. Yeah. Like don't waste your money. You know, only use your money on a woman that you feel like you like and you feel like you have a future with. If you don't like her, if you don't have a future with her, or if she's just one of your friends or whatever, then I don't think you really owe her anything. You shouldn't have to.
I mean, I think I mainly disagree with Kirk here because, like, it should be common courtesy that if I invite whoever, it doesn't matter even the gender or the relationship status. Like, if I invite a coworker, for instance, to dinner or coffee, unless I tell him, oh, like, are you okay? Like, we split the bill or whatever, right? Unless there is that kind of agreement, like, yeah, I am inviting you, so I'm paying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, unless I state so otherwise.
Yeah, because you're asking for someone's time.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly reasonable, right?
Yeah.
It's asking for someone's time, like a trade. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason why Kirk kind of thinks like this is because he's kind of more like a conservative Christian person. And you know how conservative Christian people are. They're very like traditional values, like, the man is the provider, the woman is the caretaker, yada, yada, yada. You know what I'm trying to say, right? So
yeah, it makes sense. I mean, this kind of relationship worked for thousands of years. Like, we had traditions aren't merely arbitrary norms, right? Traditions are what works.
Yeah.
Like, they persist for thousands of years. Like, the traditions, like, if there was a tradition to sacrifice children or whoever, right? Those don't last long. Those really don't last long. Like, they appear throughout history, but those civilizations die off very quickly.
Yeah.
Right? So traditions that last for thousands of years and are shared by, like, these kinds of values exist from, like, Japan to China to Mongolia to Mesopotamia to the Aztecs, right? Like, if cultures that have never interacted have developed similar traditions in this regard. So I think it makes sense.
That's something that emerges from just from evolution. Like, some the things that work are the things that are going to occur over enough iterations, right?
Yeah.
So
over the years, your ancestors sort of tested things out. They found out the best way of doing things. They passed it on to their kin. Then those people sort of pass it on. They find better ways of doing things, and then they pass that knowledge on. And it's like, you sort of, that's how we sort of got to we are now.
Yeah.
But,
So
all right. So let's move on.
That it shouldn't even be a question.
Do you view democracy as an American value, something that's very important to the fabric of this country?
No. Where is democracy in the U.S. Constitution?
Oh, okay.
Hell no.
Hold on. Where is the word democracy?
I don't think the word democracy is in the Constitution.
So where is the word democracy in any of the founding fathers?
A lot of the founding fathers had extremely elitist viewpoints around who should...
Hold on. I just want to... You said the word democracy, so I want to get back to our roots.
Yes.
Where is democracy mentioned? In the Federalist Papers, the Constitution, or the Declaration?
I think it's good that this country has moved away from things that were explicitly believed by the founding
in the Federalist
fathers.
Papers, and it's mentioned negatively as a problem. So you ask me, is democracy a fundamental American value? I say no.
Okay.
Because I go back to our roots. And Hamilton, Madison, and Jay...
Oh, I know that Hamilton was anti-democracy.
Hold on,
these
let me
people
finish.
thought that people should be owned as
I want to be
property.
clear. I am pro-representative government, but I'm not pro-democracy. That's a big difference, and that distinction's important. But you asked very specifically about democracy, which is not an American value. It never has been and never should be, because what is democracy? Democracy is majority rule no matter what. That there's no provisions of checks and balances, no inalienable rights, no separation of powers, pure if the majority gets it, the majority wants it as quickly as possible.
I don't advocate pure democracy. I do understand that we live in a representative, we live in a republic, and I understand these things.
You're a stochastic terrorist.
What is that?
Yeah, I agree with him on the whole, like, that America is definitely not a just a democracy. It's a representative democracy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that it's a republic, but I kind of really want to. I'm really now curious about his views on democracy. Very, very curious.
I think what he was saying.
Like,
oh, sorry, I was just going to say. Oh, you go ahead.
No, he just said that majority rule is not ideal because he wants some inalienable rights. He wants balance of power. He wants some other things. Whereas majority always wins. That's sort of different. That's like I don't know. It's just a collective whim, you know.
Yeah, I was just gonna say what he was about to say. He believes more like in a representative democracy, which would be like as opposed to everybody vote on each individual policy. What you do is you vote for a representative, and then that representative kind of makes the decisions for you guys, for you in the politics, and that's how it kind of works in America. So he's basically saying he doesn't support a full democracy, just a full-on democracy. He supports a representative democracy. Now, I don't support either personally.
I don't definitely. I mean, this chick is stupid, so she can't actually, disagree with him because she's also a Democrat, probably.
I mean, look how small her forehead is. Sorry,
you're just like measuring these people's forehead. Oh, this guy got a big forehead. He must be a little smarter than that guy.
I'm just noticing the patterns. Okay, people say, look, I'm gonna be honest. There's some truth to physiognomy. Okay, there's no way it's a coincidence that Jordan B. Peterson has the biggest forehead in the West and he's smart. Okay, there's no. But and this chick right here, these aren't coincidences. I
have a big forehead. So what's that say about
that's
me?
Why you're smart. You're big brain. Okay,
I have a 5 head, bro.
yeah, that's good. But it's like your head got muscles, bro.
I mean, that's a fair assessment. I don't know any argument to the contrary, so let's go with the forehead thing. But I just really want to know, like, in depth of the Kirk's opinion on this. Maybe I'll do maybe privately, and maybe we can mention it. I can bring it up later.
Yeah.
But like the thing that why I don't like representative democracy, I don't like direct democracy either. It's all a softer form of communism.
Yeah.
Because like if you elect a representative, he will lie his ass off. Like you will never pick angels. All of these people now become a separate class. Like all of these people who get elected into this representative government become a separate class. They are above the law because they make the law. And they will work together not against each other, right? They will never work against each other. The Congress never works against the House of Representatives, ever. Like that never happens. Everybody knows the underhanded dealings going on in Congress, right? People who get elected into Congress never fucking leave it either. And that's just because that's how you progress, right? You have to be sure that this person knows what everybody wants, right? For however long he is elected.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
you can go district or whatever, but it's still hundreds of people who might not all agree. You will have 50% vote for, 49% will vote for one guy, 51% for the other guy. He still knows maybe like 51%. What 51% wants, not the rest of the people. And so now I have pockets of like us versus them all the time.
Yeah, and another thing I would want to point out is that these representatives are all statists that are funded by taxation. These people are, at the end of the day, they're thieves. You have a competition of who can be the best thief. This is what Hoppe points out in his book on democracy. These are not competitors for who can provide the best public services for the people. It's who are the best at stealing from the people and like making it seem okay because like they have good rhetoric or whatever, you know?
Yeah, and in America, a lot of our representatives they do whatever because there's like term limits. A lot of the effects of their policies don't really can like be set off like long after they're already out of that position.
Yeah.
You
and
know
when
what I'm
they
saying?
leave,
So
when they leave, they're immune to all of the consequences.
Exactly. So when they finish and they leave, they're immune to all the consequences. Nobody really
and then they blame the guy after.
and then so what they end up doing is they in order to get into power, a lot of like Democratic politicians, because they know they can run up the national debt pretty much as Congress allows, right? They offer and they promise free this, free that, free healthcare, free this, free that, free this, free that, free that. And that was literally like, when you look at like the Democratic elections, that was all of the promises that they were making. I'm going to give you free this. I'm going to lower the cost of this. I'm going to give you free this. So they make all of these promises to get into office. They run up the debt. And then whenever the consequences of running up that debt come into fruition, well, they're already out of office. And then they can be
the
like,
next guy.
Yeah, they blame the next guy. And then they could be like, oh, it wasn't this bad when I was in office. When I was in office, everything was running swell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, it's such a high, it's very high time preference, which is what Papa said. It's just you're destroying the future for like an illusion of prosperity in the present, but it's not even real prosperity because it's going to come crashing down.
Yeah.
And so that's why the economy is not so good, you know.
Everybody likes low interest because they can then borrow money cheaply, for instance, you know. But that's not a good thing. Like any economist, right, will tell you that no, artificially low interest is not a good thing. It never, you know, except for the Keynesians, you know, the more honest ones will actually.
But they're not humans.
Huh?
No,
they're not humans. They're lizards.
They're not humans. They're not human. Yeah, exactly. They're the reptiles, man.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously like it because they can steal money that way. But like the fiat system and the artificially low interest, you know, anyone who remembers the 2008 bank runs, you know, can pretty much tell you, yeah, this is not a good idea. You know, why is Japan running high interest all the time? Why is it keeping it? Why does Japan keep most of its reserves in dollars? You know,
when you have artificially low interest rates, what ends up happening is people start, because in the end of the day, what people need to understand is that prices are signals. They're not these arbitrary numbers. They represent whether or not something is available in abundance, not abundance, whether something is risky, not risky, right? In terms of like the interest rates. And if you lower the interest rates lower than they would otherwise be, that signals to investors that they could be a little bit more risky with how they spend their money. So what they end up doing is they start investing in things that would otherwise not be invested in. So they end up creating more things than what people actually want. And that actually happened during the Great Depression or before the Great Depression. In fact, a lot of libertarians actually predicted this, and Austrians predicted this, which was when they artificially lowered the interest rates, people were investing in a bunch of food that people didn't really want. What ended up happening is they had more food than they ever ended up needing, and the economy completely crashed. And when it crashes, what ends up happening is that it's actually the economy realizing that all of this malinvestment, and then it basically backtracks and it tries to adjust to what is actually the legitimate prices of that represent the actual supply and demand of the situation. So that's like sort of the boom and bust cycle and what ends up happening. And whenever there's a boom and bust cycle, they try to tweak it even more to try to prolong it. But when they prolong it, in the short term, it makes everything, seem better. But in the long term, it just makes it even worse. So then the bubble when the bubble pops, it's even more devastating than what it would have been.
Yes, you're amplifying malinvestment. That's not good. You want price signals to reflect actual demand. You don't want price signals to reflect, I don't know, interventions that are just basically just complete contrivances, really, not even reflecting what people actually want. It's like, okay, you're investing in things that people don't want to invest in. I'm like, wait a moment, that's a contradiction. And it's like, oh, collapse, okay.
This is why the state should not be the ones messing with the interest rate. We should not have a monopoly, such as a Federal Reserve, basically controlling our currencies. It's whenever, it's good for the state to have a Federal Reserve because it allows them to print money and steal our money through and through inflation and basically steal our savings through inflation. It's good for them, but it's not good for us because it ends up fucking with the economy, and it creates these boom and bust cycles that actually inevitably hurt us the most. The lower class people
crazy
and middle
how,
class people. Go ahead.
It's crazy how people think America or like these Western nations are capitalist economies. Like, no, there's a state monopoly on a monetary supply. It's called the central bank, and people say, "Oh, this is a capitalist system." Like, no, this is. I mean, this is straight up monetary socialism, arguably monetary communism, because the state owns the means of production of money. Like, how is this this can't be a capitalist system, you know?
Yeah, because once they have control of the money, they can inflate the currency and steal your money without actually physically taking it. Because if you have, say, $10,000 in your bank account, in your savings account, and they inflate it to, say, 20 to twice the amount, the value to twice the amount, that's as if they took $5,000 straight out of your bank account, because that's how much it's worth now, because that the money was inflated by double the amount. So it's a sneaky way for the state to steal money from your savings.
Yeah, they literally spent your money. They spent your money, and you did it in a very clandestine way.
Without actually taking it. They did it through inflation. Physically taking it. They did it. Well, they took your money, but they didn't do it through physically taking it. They did it through inflating the money supply, which is in another sense taking it, but just in a different way.
Yes.
Anything else? All right. Let's continue to the next part.
We live in a representative, like we live in a republic, and I understand.
Oh yeah, and the last thing to say is this woman was just like, "Oh, don't you support a democracy?" But she's like, but then he's like, "Yeah, but we don't live in a democracy. We live in a representative democracy." And she's just like, "Well, yeah, I support a representative democracy." I was like, "Okay, well then I guess you don't really support democracy neither."
Look, she has a smaller brain, so she has to be subordinate to the bigger brain's talking points. Okay, like you can't, she can't argue with that massive forehead. Come on,
democracy is the god that failed. Anyways.
You're a stochastic terrorist.
What is that?
You're in a republic, and I understand.
You're a stochastic terrorist.
What is that?
Stochastic terrorist?
It's random.
What is a woman?
Stochastic means random. The word stochastic. From what I understand. Hold on, let me look up the term actually. Maybe
me too.
Stochastic terrorist. Because the word stochastic, I think it means random, but okay. Stochastic terrorism is a type of political violence that arises from indirect and vague rhetoric aimed at individuals or groups, which can incite random acts of violence without direct calls to action. So it's like dog whistling, kind of.
Oh, okay, I guess. So she basically is trying to say like he eggs people on to commit violence or whatever. Is that like a way of saying it?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I wouldn't say so. He doesn't do that. Yeah, I don't think so. Anyways, what are you gonna say, Wizard?
Oh no, let's hear his argument, then we'll comment.
Yeah. All right, no problem.
You're targeting trans people
Got
specifically.
I advocate pure democracy.
Sorry,
I do.
You're a stochastic terrorist.
What is that?
You're targeting a minority group. You're targeting trans people
Got
specifically.
What is a woman?
That's a stupid ass question, dude. That's a dumb ass question.
What is a woman?
She threw the thing.
Student?
What is a woman? Oh, you're talking about a college student instead of like, I don't know, someone who has media training?
They can't answer what a woman is. It's not a trick question. What is a woman? What is that thing? You can't answer the question with the question. It's like saying, what is the sun? The sun is something that looks like the sun. What is a woman?
It's a social difference.
No, you can't answer the question with... Yeah, define the woman without saying woman. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, there's another what is a woman thing because you couldn't answer it.
Because she's calling him a stochastic terrorist because he's attacking trans people for not being real women. And it's like, okay. But here's the thing, right? It's like stochastic terrorist, the dog whistle thing, I think it's complete bullshit because people have agency. If I told you to jump into a well, right? I told you, Sithis, I really hate you. Go jump into that well. Right? And you go and do it. Am I guilty of murder? That's the fundamental question. Am I guilty of murder? Because you decided to jump into a well.
But maybe if KingSithis was like mentally disabled, I guess. I don't know.
No, I would say, you could have, egged them on or would say, hey, do it. But fundamentally, if the person is of sound mind, you know what I mean by like of sound mind, and he chooses to do it on their own, I mean, that's kind of on him, you know? You could say that those guys are like assholes for egging him on, but I'm not sure that's necessarily their fault.
No. I mean, see, you have like obviously Sithis is not mentally disabled. He is perfectly functional. So you have agency. Therefore, it's at the end of the day, it's really your choice. Like if somebody commits a crime, we have to punish those who have committed a crime.
Yes.
Also, what about, do they hold the same standard for people on the left who are calling him a Nazi and a piece of shit to the point where they literally got him killed? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What about all the people like Hassan Piker and the Young Turks and all these other leftist political commentators who are on a daily basis calling this guy a fucking white supremacist Nazi, right? And then when somebody shoots them, and then when somebody shoots him, they're all like, "Oh, you know, this is all sad and this and this and that." But it's like, dude, you guys were like you guys were calling him a Nazi. You guys were calling him a white supremacist. You guys were calling
you
him
gotta
all
be
of this
consistent,
stuff.
you know.
You know exactly. Like, and it's now that he's passed away, now all of a sudden everybody's being all nice to him. You know.
I mean, well, it depends on who you're, because there are some radical leftists who do not feel much sympathy for.
Why don't we call these guys those guys who are making those videos and calling him a Nazi, a racist, a this and this and that, a stochastic terrorist? Because you know you're egging on people to.
Exactly.
If you're calling somebody a Nazi, you're egging people on. I would argue, right? You're egging people on.
You have
to
call
shoot that guy or
terrorist.
attack that guy. Yeah.
You gotta say. Yeah, you gotta say I am a stochastic terrorist. You know, it's a fair game.
Yeah, so none of these people hold their standard on both sides. You know, it's always just this guy. Oh, what is he really doing that's all that bad? He's just asking, what is a woman? He's just calling out the hypocrisy and their viewpoints. He doesn't, as far as I can tell, he doesn't hate trans people. He doesn't want them not to be allowed, to live. He's just questioning the ideology. He thinks it doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Well, maybe someone will point out a clip or something in the comments or whatever. You know, like maybe we just missed it. Maybe there is like a very hateful stuff that he said, and I really like to see that somebody point that out in the comments. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, if that is true, like obviously, if he did anything bad or was racist or sex or whatever, anti-phobic or whatever, you know, obviously I disavow that, but none of that would, make it okay for whatever happened to him to happen to him. Yeah.
Not.
So,
see, when the standard is so good, you just can't help but double it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, none of these guys hold these. They'd be like, he's a terrorist, sarcastic terrorist. But it's just like, what about those guys on your side that quite literally always call for the deaths of people? Literally, Hassan Piker was on H3H3 saying that, oh, if there's a capitalist, political party that is, growing in the ranks in your government, what are you going to do about them? And he goes, oh, well, we'll put them in re-education camps and stuff like that. Like, he literally said shit like that. And it's just like,
this is whataboutism, honestly. But at the end of the day, like, okay, I'm fine with them calling us stochastic terrorists or whatever, right? Fine, whatever. You have to still demonstrate that's a valid thing. And then again, like, at least apply the standard consistently. Like, that's all we want.
Yeah. If somebody's doing, well, I don't believe in stochastic terrorists, but like if you believe in that, yeah, you should call them out on both sides. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, define the woman without saying woman. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Yes, ma'am. How are you?
I was a little kid.
How are you?
What's your name?
Dakota.
Nice to meet you, Dakota. How old are you?
I'm 11.
Amazing. Give it up for Dakota being here today.
So, I'm pro-life, I'm a fiscal conservative, and I know I want to get into politics when I grow up. I don't want to get into massive debt for a political science degree. What concrete steps can I take now in order to achieve the goal of doing my part to make America great again?
Oh, great. You should go to Hillsdale College, America's greatest college, and start studying now. Start taking classes, reading books. You have to be in charge of your own education, and the fact you're thinking like this at 11 is a great sign. God bless you, and the future is very bright. Thank you. Do you want a hat?
No, actually.
What's your name?
Seems a little staged.
Yeah, but it's a little kid. What are you gonna do? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but everybody has feels for like when kids are involved, everybody's like immediately invested. I don't know.
I do think it's
still
a
feel
little
like
bit cringe to see little kids being political, personally, because I feel like they can't really understand what they don't have the full complexity of like.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's a good point. But like, if you think about it, if you're a kid and you're born into a war, you sort of have to understand military stuff, whether you like it or not, right? Just like whereas right now, like if you're a kid and you're dealing with a bunch of political problems in your country, it's like, okay, you got to start understanding it now. Otherwise, when you're an adult, you're not going to be prepared.
Nah, I get what
I mean,
you're
I
saying.
don't know. I'm not saying definitely that it is staged. It's just a little fishy to me. Like it just seems like a plug. Like I'm plugging this college or whatever. I think it's a little
maybe.
Cheap. Maybe.
I mean,
I
think
know.
that kid probably just I don't know. It just
Maybe-
seemed like a
maybe it's a
normal
real
kid
kid,
going
but,
up
like-
there, being like her parents probably told her to go up there and do that.
Well, even if it was an advertisement, I don't see the problem. Like, since when are Ancaps against advertisements? Come on, let them advertise college. Let them advertise college.
Yeah, I'm not against it. Anyways, you guys want to move on to the next one? Little kids.
Yeah. We don't have to go back that far though.
Oh, let's go. Yeah, right here. Oh, I thought it was done.
None of your business, unfortunately, but
okay.
None of your business, unfortunately.
What's your name?
None of your business, unfortunately, but
okay. Hello, nice to meet you. Know your business.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So, do you love America?
Yes, I do.
I hate America.
What?
The ports, not you.
The port commies.
In the
His shirt.
USA should be an independent country. What do you think of this?
Well, I just first have to ask, since you hate the
What did he
country,
say?
you plan to
Sorry,
leave?
I got.
What do you mean by
He
that?
said.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I just first have to ask, since you hate the
Oh,
in the USA should be an independent.
Every state in the USA should be independent.
What do you think of this?
I think that's a good idea.
Well, I just first have to ask, since you hate the country, do you plan to leave?
What do you mean by that?
Do you plan to go live in another country?
No, I do not.
Let me tell you something.
Your face is an idiot.
America is the only country where even those who hate it refuse to leave. That's how you know you live in a great country.
He got good rhetoric. That was good.
You know what? I'll say this. When it comes to like the 50 states sort of thing, I mean, personally, I support states getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Ideally, that would be, I think that's a good way of sort of building a Capistan, sort of making states smaller and smaller and smaller until everybody's like their own independent little government.
Exactly. You want everyone to secede on a level of an individual.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a good idea. But and the whole argument, like the whole like love it or leave it argument, I don't really like that argument because it's you ever see that one meme where the guy's like poor and he's like, man, I think things could be better, and he's like, oh, but you participate in the system. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Do you know that meme? And I think it's just like, I think it's perfectly legitimate for people to I guess criticize the country and want things to be better while also liking and while also acknowledging, hey, I'd rather live here than some other country because like this is like the best out of the other options that I have. Like, like out of all the options, I think America's like the best option. But obviously I'm an Ancap, so I'm gonna want America to become Ancap. So I'm gonna try my best to push it in that direction. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not gonna say. But at the same time, I do think it's kind of dumb when people say, "I hate America. I think America is the worst." You know what I mean? While also like, it's just like, sheesh, it's not that bad.
Definitely.
I think I can't say I hate America. What I can say is I hate the government. That's what I hate. The state. That's what I hate. I like the country America, and I like Americans, and I like the culture of America, and there's a lot I like about America, but the thing that I don't like is the state.
Yeah, you can love it. Yeah, you see, people don't understand, but like, people don't think about this stuff, but you can like the fundamental values of a place. You can like the people and still fucking hate the thing. That doesn't mean you have to leave. Like, you own land there. You have property there, Like, nobody can steal that from you. the only thing that the people can realistically do ethically is disassociate from you, right? If you're not hurting anyone, like I do a lot of gangbangs in my house, and my neighbors don't like it, so nobody's gonna want to sell to me, right? Nobody's gonna want to talk to me. People will protest at my house or whatever, and eventually I'll get sick of it. I'll leave. If enough people stop associating with me, I'll have to leave, or otherwise I won't be able to buy food, to go to the groceries, whatever it is.
Yeah,
that's how you actually force people to move, is because there is no other way that would be considered ethical. Like, we have the non-aggression principle.
Yeah.
Don't aggress on peaceful people.
That's what Hoppe means with just socially ostracizing people you don't agree with. You don't need to aggress against them. And he says, he like, people hate, some people hate Hoppe for his physical removal rhetoric, but that's like if the people in a private covenant own the land, they can remove someone from the land, right? So
yeah.
I think it's a misunderstood concept, though, because physical removal, Hoppe argues physical removal in the sense that if I was a communist and I lived in a capitalist state, my ideas are like, communists do not believe property exists, right? They cannot explain to you how you can own things, right? They don't agree with you on property. They don't agree with you on profit. They think profit is theft. They think it's legitimately okay to steal from you just because you have too much, right? Whatever that means. So that you have someone who's basically advocating to steal from you. Like, it would be like me camping in front of your house and planning a raid and telling everyone, hey, I believe we should steal from this guy, right? I am threatening you at that point. That's what Hoppe means by physical removal. If someone's threatening you, you have the right to remove them.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, those would be seditious actors. They're going against the very voluntary contract of the place. So you can remove them. Yeah.
They're pretty much criminals at that point, because their whole ideology is, I think it's okay to rob people, basically. All right, so here's one clip of him. He was actually on South Park, and here's a clip of him reacting to it, and I think that he actually took it pretty well. But the clip of him on South Park was actually really hilarious, so I wanted to react to it. I seen it myself, but I wanted all of us to react to it.
Let's see this.
Okay, everybody, the South Park episode just dropped, and honestly, it is hilarious. I mean, part of it is kind of like whatever, typical humor, but it was hilarious. Just watch this little snippet of our Prove Me Wrongs, our viral cultural domination on prime time on Comedy Central. So important, so impactful that South Park is highlighting. Watch it.
I'm sick of people stealing my shtick. If anyone around here is going to be a master debater, it's me. So let's go. Who wants to debate the master debater? Let's go. You right there.
That's the
That's supposed to be him.
I've ever seen.
You around. Leviticus 3:17 says it shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings. So you can shut up, baby. You just hate America and you love abortions.
Not only that, but Jeremiah 1:5, I made you in the womb. South Park gets this right. In fact, I think they've been watching a lot of Charlie Kirk videos. Watch.
Oh my God, what makes you think you have the right to say what I do with my body?
Let me ask you something. If a pregnant woman is killed and the baby dies too, why is the killer charged with a double homicide?
Well, because people have different beliefs.
That's a brutal analogy.
So Jeremiah 1:5 says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. But it's just morality that demands we protect the most vulnerable.
And we got our own award show.
You know what? That's actually pretty funny, because like, you have to watch his videos for you to kind of know his arguments. It's like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of funny how like they kind of use his actual argument for the clip. Do you think that's kind of funny, huh? Anyways.
I don't think they're
basically.
What do you think?
A small tribute, I think.
Yeah.
With that little, and it's very cool. It's funny as fuck. Yeah.
Are you gonna say Hemlock?
No. I was gonna say I don't think these South Park was trying to insult him. They was making a joke, like not they were cracking a joke, not at his expense, but like just making a parody.
They were kind of making fun of him, but like they were parroting him. You know what I'm saying? Like they do with every other celebrity. You know, they do this with pretty much every celebrity. You know, and they don't mean to do it in a mean way. But they're kind of just making fun of you, they're showing the absurdity.
They're making fun of everybody in the situation, I think, because like it's also the abortionists, right? I want to have like that's a very good argument, Kirk makes there, and like
that's kind of funny. I like the woman's reaction to it because she's just like, huh?
That is that's a because it's brutal and it's a brilliant argument too.
Yeah. Anyways, let's continue.
It's not about belief, it's about truth. Science confirms life begins at conception.
Have different beliefs.
It's not about belief, it's about truth. Science confirms life begins at conception. So yes, Jeremiah 1:5 says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. But it's just morality that demands we protect the most vulnerable.
And we got our own award show as part of South Park. I was told going in, Charlie, if they say your name, that's a big win. Well, apparently there's the Charlie Kirk Awards.
Hello and welcome to
the Master Debaters.
Oh, that's literally us.
More and more young people today are learning to fight for America through masturbation. We're here to honor the recent efforts of a brave young man who has been furiously masturbating for the past several days.
Now, there's going to be a lot said about this, but we need to have a good spirit about being made fun of. This is all a success. This is all a win. We as conservatives, we have thick skin, not thin skin. And you can make fun of us. It doesn't matter. And until next time, I hope all of you also become master debaters for truth.
Yo, that's funny. Master debate. Yo, this guy has been furiously master debating for the last 7 days. Bro, that's funny. I know you sent me some clips, Hemlock, didn't you?
I sent one. It was because I was just looking at this on you. No, I didn't watch it, but I thought it was pretty interesting. Like Charlie Kirk gets a commie Marxist to agree with him. That seems pretty interesting. We could maybe react to that.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see.
There's some Twitter clips as well I've seen in the reactions channel.
Campus.
It's
okay.
Instagram.
Yeah,
Fucking
it's Instagram.
sucks.
All right, so you ready?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Against Charlie. I've noticed the swing of a college campus.
It's totally
with
changed.
Charlie now, and it's radically different, and it's so much more fun to watch. What do you attribute that to?
You know what it is? The people in this audience are smart, and they're panicking that they're not going to have a country. They're the first generation since George Washington to have it worse off than their parents. This generation is the most depressed, suicidal, anxious, drug addicted, lowest homeownership, poorest, most overweight, directionless. No, I mean, again, this is true. And also, this generation around you has something very unique. Almost everyone in this audience here had their prom canceled because of COVID. Had their graduation ceremonies canceled. Probably lost a friend to suicide because of all the lockdowns. And they are looking for a country that they can believe in, that they can live in. So I'm not going to take credit for it. These are forces greater than us. We just happen to be at the right place at the right time.
Thank you.
Wow. It's pretty black pilling. I mean, it's pretty black pilling. Not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
he's not wrong.
As a Zoomer, he's kind of right though. Yeah.
Yeah, he's right. 100%.
Anyone who can say that this isn't true is blind. I think.
Oh, yeah.
Literally blind. People blame the wrong things. I think for the fall of civilization. I will literally call it fall of civilization. Yeah, it's a little black pilling, right? There is hope because if it was hopeless, right, they wouldn't need propaganda at all whatsoever. They wouldn't need to kill people they disagree with and stuff like that, right? They wouldn't need to egg people on. There would be no need for that, right? If it was hopeless.
True.
So really, people are blaming the wrong stuff. Like people, instead of blaming high taxes, malinvestment, inflation, like 2021, 2022, right? Printed like 33% of all of the dollars ever printed. That number, I don't think people understand how insane that number is. And now you have people, glorifying like the tariffs and shit. Like, yeah, it was a little bit of a stunt, but it has an effect. You will not see it immediately, but it has a big effect. You did a video on that I think everybody should watch. It's very short and concise. Like it's 10 minutes, I think.
Which one is that? My video about the broken window fallacy?
No. The tariff. The tariff.
Oh, the tariff video. Yeah, my video on tariffs. I thought was really, really good because what I did is I just came up. The main reason why I made that video was because I was just tired of Trump supporters, because at that time Donald Trump was talking a lot about doing tariffs in America, and everybody was talking about, oh, tariffs are so good, tariffs are so great. So I was just like, man, fuck this shit. So I was just like, I wanted to make a video against that at that time, but yeah. But anyways, here's another clip if you guys want. Oh wait, were you gonna say something?
Oh no, I was just gonna say tariffs are a tax on the consumers. They're bad for poor people. You know, you don't want tariffs.
They're bad for everyone, honestly. And like I said in the video that I made, they're never applied uniformly. They're never applied to every company, right? They're always applied to whatever company that is paying the government, and they basically use those favors to basically benefit certain companies over others. Where like for instance, like the steel industry, when they put a 30% increase on the tariffs, you know, that one company benefited, but all the other companies like construction, this and that company, any company that uses steel, basically are now they have to pay more, and all those jobs that would have been there are now not there, because you can't really see what the jobs that would have been there had the policy not been there. And that's the one thing about empiricism when it comes to the economy and empiricism. It's not like the same with like medical studies or any other study, because with a medical study or something like that, you could test two different people and see how it would be if you had not given that person that drug. Whereas like with the government policies and it comes to the economy, you can't, once they put that policy in place, you can't see how it would have been had the policy not been put in place, because you've already put it in place.
Yeah, you need to use counterfactual reasoning. You need to use rationalism and counterfactual reasoning.
Yeah, and all you can do, the closest thing that you can do is compare it to, say, another city that didn't have that policy. But the problem is you're comparing it to a whole nother city with totally different circumstances, policies, people, individuals, businesses, and everything. So it's just not.
I mean, well, you can compare. Well, Hoppe actually empirically compared the two sides of Germany. I believe one side was more socialist, one side was more capitalist, and well, what do you know? It the capitalist side was more prosperous. I mean, so,
but that's a situation where it's a clear distinction between the two, right? But when it comes to like individual, like they'll try to be like, oh, a minimum wage increased in this city and it increased at that city. And one city it didn't do any, in both cities it didn't really affect it that much. Or in this city it did, but in that city it didn't. But the problem is you're looking at two completely different cities. When it comes to the socialism part, you could see like the whole structure was completely different, and the whole structure was completely different on the other side. And one was just completely capitalist, well, mostly capitalist, and the other one was pretty much socialist. So you can see from that, you could be like, holy shit, these socialists didn't really do a good job.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something, Wizard?
I think we covered most of that. Yeah, we can move on to the next.
Next clip. Somebody else sent me this clip, so.
You want to have as much sex as possible, but then I say if I get pregnant, I can kill the baby. That's really dark.
It's not killing the baby.
What? Killing what?
It's a clump of cells.
You're a clump of cells. I'm a clump of cells. We're all clumps of cells.
Yeah.
I think that's like the most stupidest argument that anyone could really say, because it's just like, even if you're going to say, oh, it's a clump of cells, there's a point in the pregnancy where the baby's no longer a clump of cells. It's like it has arms, it has legs, it has a heart, a stomach, all the normal parts of a human being. So yeah, I think that's kind of a stupid argument.
It's like saying
conception, right? You've already like the spermatozoa, right, merges with the egg and then embeds into the wall of the vagina, right, the uterus, and now it becomes a gestated, right, and starts mitosis. That's where life begins. How do you, like, if you want to go with a clump of cells, right, then you have to define what is an organism. An organism is a self-replicating clump of cells. That's what you are. That's what the moment it embeds itself into the wound wall. That's where you get your and it's an objective definition. We've known this for thousands of years, right? And all of a sudden, you just want to have this way out. Like if you dehumanize it completely using the scientific terms, like PTSD. Well, what does that mean? Shell shock. That's what it is. trauma. Those are words you have a more concrete concept of. Right? Concepts are what we know, right? And logic, right, is the methodology of how we form concepts, how we know. You can't just say, "Oh, an apple is an apple only once it's ripened." Right? That's not how this works. An apple is just a part of how the plant grows in its life cycle. Right? But the fruit of the apple, right, is a completely separate plant. It just feeds, like the main plant feeds it, right? But it will become a tree with a different DNA sequence. Right? You can't just go, "Oh, but it's not an apple."
Yeah, you can't just say a seed is just a seed. It's like, yeah, but it can become a tree. You know?
Yeah.
What?
The thing is, once the egg and the sperm come together and it starts to sort of multiply, that's when it sort of becomes a unique human being. You know?
Yeah, it means condition.
Yeah. Wow, this woman, she's got a healthy.
Maybe that may be a bit too chubby for me, but
she's got a healthy set of.
Yeah, but her weight is distributed correctly.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, yeah, she definitely wasn't under communist redistribution, if you know what I mean. You know, she wasn't under communism. She was
Anyways.
Don't be swayed by communist titties, okay? Like they're there to manipulate you completely. You're thinking with the wrong head.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Do you guys want to watch one more clip and then we're good?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm fine with it. Like, let's hear if you have to hear her argument, right?
Yes.
That will dispel it for you.
Oh, okay, yeah, I should hear. I'm sure she's a very intelligent woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
About anti-Semitism on campus. Hi. Oh, my name's Erin. I'm a really big fan, and I'm really excited to see both of you.
Oh, very big fan.
I'm a little stressed because I feel like I could ask about, gun violence. I could ask about anti-Semitism on campus. But I feel like with an opportunity like this, I would really appreciate some personal advice. I'm here at the University of Pittsburgh as a social work major, and I'm really passionate about it.
Her protuberances. She's got some gigantic protuberances, bro. Because
is that even a word?
Nips are literally pulling out. Are literally poking out of her shirt.
Protrusion.
Oh my goodness! All right, let's continue, bro.
Look, the guy's literally staring at her. Oh my!
He's like, these guys. Yo, look at these two guys. They're trying so hard not to look, bro. They're just trying really hard.
Bro, it's so obvious.
I don't want to look.
The guy on the left and the guy on the right. It's so, bro. Come on.
They don't want to
look. Doing this. Come on, man. But you gotta put on sunglasses.
Anyways, let's continue.
Don't blame them.
However, I have found that I'm leaning a little bit more Republican, and I feel like I come at a standstill with that. And I really just want to get your advice moving forward for myself. There's some obvious things I think you can think that would conflict. Obviously. I guess that's kind of my question. What advice do you have for me as a Republican aspiring social worker?
What would conflict? Put on a bra.
I don't know how to say it properly.
I think I can help. The social work industry is very much about a perspective generally of that people in poverty are there permanently and not trying to break people out of poverty into the middle class or higher levels.
Right.
And that's why the Democrat Party and social work are very intertwined.
Right, exactly.
They view poverty not as a series of choices, but as a station in life that is immovable largely.
Right.
Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say. That's why my personal focus is on the children in underprivileged communities, because I personally feel like they don't choose to be put in that position. But I'm having a little bit of a difficult time empathizing with the older generation of underprivileged, and not in every community, but I don't know how to not sound bad. I know you are great at not sounding bad when you say stuff, but I don't want to say something that'll get me in trouble.
Well, here's one way to look at it. And Charlie, that was helpful, actually. The Great Society from Lyndon Johnson. It was a series of policies that were designed to help underprivileged communities.
Right.
They hurt the very people they were supposed to help.
How?
Well, the reality is it created dependence on government. So you have a lot of single mothers, for example, that are paid more money not to have a man in the house than to have a man in the house because of the way the math of these aid programs
What do you
work.
mean?
Well, often the way the math of the aid is calculated is if you have an earning husband in the household, that actually causes you to disqualify for forms of federal aid that were designed to help you.
Right.
But actually, the best way to get kids in your own household ahead is in a two-parent household, because if you're raised in a two-parent household, you're less likely to end up in jail, less likely to end up in poverty, more likely to graduate from high school. So one of the ways that, if you're asking for advice, I would say for the people around you, even who might lean left, you can recognize their intentions come from a good place.
Absolutely.
But the policies of their leaders have actually betrayed the very people they were supposed to help. And you can let them know, because I believe this is genuinely true. Not just the Republican Party, but our conservative movement. We care about lifting people up from poverty. We just care about actually doing it rather than talking about it. That's what I would say.
The other thing I'll say is that we as conservatives believe that if you're in poverty, it's largely because of values, not because of lack of stuff.
Like what values?
Not saving money. Spending all of your money in your paycheck as you get it, for example. Abandoning your spouse after impregnating them. Not spending all of your money on alcohol and drugs and instead opening a 401k. So values are the #1 predictor of entering the middle class. And there's a great book called Life at the Bottom. You should read it, by Theodore Dalrymple, who's a social worker in the United Kingdom. It's called Life at the Bottom, where he got into social work because he wanted to help people, and he realized it was not a lack of stuff. It wasn't lack of housing, lack of food stamps. It was that their value system was one that kept them poor. So yeah, really quick, then I want to get to the next question.
I'm just struggling because in all of my social work classes right now, they're talking about all of those things.
You guys want to say anything?
Yeah, actually, largely agree with Ramaswamy and Kirk on this one. That yes, they do not. These policies do not help because you're basically. He used an example of single mothers, and yeah, that is true. You're rewarding people. You know, like you've made the contract such that one party is rewarded for breaking it.
Yeah.
And that's why people aren't marrying anymore, for instance, right? But you also have a burden, like everybody now has the burden of unsuccessful marriages.
Yeah.
Because of taxes. But at the same time, I don't fully agree with the sentiment of like, it's all on you. Because, well, obviously, it's not all you. Yes, you should be accountable. Should be accountable for your choices, definitely. People are not equal. Like the equity equality fallacy, like it's obviously a fallacy. You know, I'm not LeBron James, and people wouldn't pay millions of dollars to watch me play basketball. So LeBron James and me are not equal, obviously. There's a cool story by Harrison Bergeron on this, but also I wouldn't read, you know, a statist social worker from the UK. To be honest with you, I would read Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell wrote a book.
Yes, Thomas Sowell is the man.
Discrimination and Disparities. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, that book is very good.
That is a brilliant book. He grew up poor at a time where there was way more class, you know, like social mobility. It's not really a class system, you know. There are no real classes. Everybody's a capitalist. You know, everybody's a capitalist and everybody can be a consumer. But, you know, there's this false dichotomy that originates from Marx is completely bullshit. Yes. Because how do you become a capitalist? You have capital. What is capital? Anything can be capital. Land, labor, time.
Your phone?
Your phone. Anything can be capital, right? As long as you provide a value to someone, anyone, value is subjective, right? So anyone, you're a capitalist now. Absolutely. Congratulations.
100%.
So Thomas Sowell just encapsulates this whole story of how and why there was so much more mobility. Like Obamacare literally killed the upward mobility of the lower class and killed the ability of the middle class to actually afford healthcare. right? Everybody was screaming how, oh, you hate the poor people. Oh, anybody who was against it, oh, they hate the poor people. Oh, they're racist because the president is black. That was all. That is a dog whistle. Like those you don't remember them, but like it was back in the 90s, right, where everybody was screaming about that, but feminism was just kicking off. And so it was all of these buzzwords, and everybody at the time in the Conservative Party was literally screaming, "No, this is a very bad idea," and they got called names for it. And so I'm glad to see that like Ramaswamy and people like Ramaswamy at least, are kind of going back to that. It's some kind of improvement in the conservative movement, but it's not all your fault. Like you can't outpace inflation. You can't outpace with sheer effort. You can't outpace taxes. You can't some social kinds of pressures, right? You cannot outpace those, right? You can't blame everybody for like running down the society of like into promiscuity, unstable families, all of these stuff. You can't really go and say, oh, well, this is all your fault personally because of choices, when the state is literally in your way every step of the way.
I mean, it's just basic incentives. Whenever you pay somebody to be in a certain situation, or you take away money from them when they gain in terms of their income, that's going to incentivize them to stay where they're at, because you got to think about it like this. If you are gaining more money by doing less work, and by doing more work, you will then lose, or you'll either make the same amount of money or get less money by doing more work, or then you're just going to choose to do less work more often than doing more work. And that just sort of keeps people in a perpetual cycle where they're where welfare doesn't really get people out of poverty. All it really does is make poverty, I guess, less bad, right? And but then incentivizes them to stay in that situation, because leaving that situation ends up hurting them.
I think these social programs make poverty the baseline. They make more poverty. You are literally paying people to be poor.
That's what I was saying. Yes. What I was saying, when you pay people to be poor, you're going to get more poor people, because being poor, you're creating an incentive to be poor. And when you give people money, you make their situation feel better, but in the long run, you're incentivizing them to stay in that situation, which harms them more.
Yeah.
All right. You want to move on?
Yeah,
we can move on. Yeah.
They're wrong.
So what do I do? I'm trying to learn about what I want to do.
I think we need to stay in social work because you're called to do it. But there's an amazing amount of literature, from Thomas Sowell to Shelby Steele to Theodore Dalrymple, that get down to actual root causes of poverty, which is not lack of stuff, but is worldview. And I think that'd be super helpful.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Trump 2024.
Yes, you want a hat? Thank you. Yes, great.
All right, you know what?
According to the way that the asylum laws...
Oh, I gotta add
the entire
Hold
nation.
on. Did you see her tits calm down? She was
as the video went on, I think she did.
Yeah, she calmed down a little bit. Yeah.
No, I don't know why she was so excited. I don't know. Maybe Charlie Kirk has that effect. I don't know.
Maybe, it's the
public speaking is not easy,
yeah.
He got her very hot.
Yeah, I know.
You guys want to watch? Do you guys want this to be the last clip, or do you want to watch anything more? Or are you guys good?
I mean, I'm thinking maybe we can watch the Marxist one, because I thought that was really interesting. Like,
I couldn't find when I clicked on it. It said I couldn't hear it. Basically.
No, hold on. Let me post it. I'm gonna DM it to you.
Okay.
What? You can't watch it for some reason?
Okay, here we go. Let's do this. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
All right, let's watch this then. Ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's do this.
Hello.
This should be good.
Mr. Kirk. I am welcoming Booze as saying I am a Marxist. I'm very left-leaning, but I'm here to find some common ground with you. Your critiques of the monopolistic tendencies of multinational corporations align very closely with my beliefs as viewing the world through a class lens as being the major axis of inequality in this country.
Yep.
My question is, as a member, a leader of a conservative organization that really condemns large government, how do you address this ever-growing power and these monopolistic tendencies without using the federal government and big government? I just would love
That's
to know
a
how you
good-spirited
propose
question. You have read your Marx. Good for you, because some people say they're Marxists and they haven't. So look, I think the Marxists
That's so true.
are wrong on a lot. We can talk about that in a second. But the Marxists, their fascination with class is not wrong. And there is a place where class warfare is legitimate and ugly and cruel, and that powerful people are trying to stomp on people that don't have as much as they have. Do I think it's as plain and simple as Marx and Engels put out? No, obviously, that's not my position. But I do think that a bipartisan diagnosis of kind of class issues is something that's very interesting. I'd be curious to get your thoughts as a Marxist of why we talk about race all the time, because that will tell me what kind of Marxist you are, but not right now. So to answer your question, the answer needs to be to try to pursue market-based solutions. Not be afraid to use the government to break up big monopolies like Google. Not be afraid to use antitrust authority. However, understand that sometimes more regulation can actually be a boon and a gift to those mega corporations. For example, when Facebook goes and they says, hey, we want more regulation for data privacy. No, they don't. They want regulation that only they can afford, so the next social media company like Rumble is not able to pay the same that they're able to pay for that sort of data hosting, lawyer fees, and all that sort of stuff. So look, I think we can both agree, though, crony capitalism or cronyism is awful and wrong, and that entrepreneurial, bottom-up focused solutions is a beautiful thing. Where we will disagree, though, is that if you are a Marxist, and you seem too sweet to be a Marxist, so I'll put that aside, but do you believe by definition that the entrepreneurial activity will result in exploitation and will result in the concentration of one person benefiting from the other? This is where I disagree. I think a portion of American economic activity, yes, is big companies exploiting or lying to people. But the vast majority of economic activity happening in America is beautiful. It's voluntary exchange of both parties benefiting. It's the local small business serving a meal to somebody in Santa Barbara. It's a local hotel that is able to have somebody with a great experience. It's somebody that starts a taxi cab company to be able to provide for their family. So I think that we bash markets way too over generally, and I would love your thoughts on that. Do you agree that most economic activity in America is probably done voluntarily and is actually beneficial?
Not anymore.
Can we pause before she starts?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, see, just the thing I have with this, I think someone could have, if they were smart, they could have pushed Kirk into this corner with his argument, because he says break up monopolies by using another monopoly.
that is
who guarantees Google's monopoly?
Yeah, exactly.
Question.
That's a contradiction. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not a small one. I would just want him to. I would really push him into this corner of like asking him, okay, how do you, like, you're against monopolies, but how do you justify using a monopoly to break up other monopolies? He will have to. If he can really stand firm on this, he would have to go into the myth of the natural monopoly, right? He would have to justify some way of how firms curdleize. Like what we did the other day with Adam Something, right? Adam Something, everybody just leans into this myth of the natural monopoly, but nobody ever...
I'm glad you call it a myth. It's not,
Yeah, nobody ever actually substantiates it. It is a myth, but nobody ever actually argues it properly.
It's like, okay, everyone likes a company, and the company gains most of the market share. It's like, okay, somehow they're preventing other competitors. Like, no, they're not preventing other competitors. They're just outcompeting them, right? So,
yeah, exactly. And also Google. I don't think Google is a monopoly. I mean, they do take up a large portion of the market share, but you don't really have to use Google. There's plenty of other competitors.
No, that is true. Like, but it has so many patents, right? The state guarantees it so much protection against competition.
That's true.
You know? Even if you want to argue that Google is a monopoly, I'm just saying, like, I think it is, but even as a monopoly, it cannot exceed like 90% share. But you can't be, why I say it's a monopoly is because it's part of a cartel. You can't start your own Google. There's no way. Absolutely impossible. Right? You would be sued into oblivion. That's why people
I get
go
what you
open
mean.
source and non-profit.
Yeah, so yeah, I
Like
guess you're
only-
right. They kind of are a monopoly in the sense that they use patent laws in order to, stomp out any
they cartel
competitor or any group that's basically using any of their whatever is patented. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he wants to break up. So he wants to use a monopoly to break up a monopoly that is guaranteed by the government. Like the government guarantees Google a monopoly, and the government itself is a monopoly. So I really want to, like, I think Kirk, if he talked to someone smart, he seems like an honest guy. I mean, I think we could get him to see the libertarian viewpoint. He was almost there. Right? He just needs to follow through on his logical conclusions.
Yeah,
to his own argument.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that it's kind of weird for him to be like, oh, we need to break up monopolies, but at the same time, he doesn't realize. But then he's at the other end. He's like, oh yeah, but if we regulate that, we have regulation that helps the big guys and harms the little guys. But isn't breaking them up a regulation? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He understands that regulation is a bad thing. Too much of it.
One case.
In any sense. Yeah, go ahead.
I think the problem is a lot of people sort of just presuppose a priori that there ought to be a government monopoly, that this state thing, it just must exist, and then they start arguing from that point. Like, no, you can question the state. You realize that is a monopoly. Like, if you're gonna say a corporation backed by the government is a monopoly, you got to say, wait a moment, the government's a monopoly.
Yeah. The state is the worst monopoly, and it quite literally forces anyone that competes with it out, unless it's a different country.
Yeah. And it can kill you.
Yeah. All right, let's finish this off.
I think because so much industry has gone
voluntarily and is actually beneficial.
Not anymore. I think because so much industry has gone overseas with certain trade agreements,
you're speaking my language.
It's usually like very large corporations that dominate employment in America. So I don't think small businesses are doing very well, especially after the pandemic.
No, that's true. I don't think they're doing well, but I think still the volume of economic activity is largely not rooted in exploitation right now in America. What do you think about that?
I agree to disagree.
Okay, got it. So think about that, because I do think that exploitation happens, but largely I think that there still is this amazing foundation of goodness in our markets, of most people that are not trying to game somebody but instead offer a service, and most people that are willing to trade their value, their time for that other service. And I don't want to lose that. And the Marxists, in its most pure sense, at the eradication of private property, we would lose that. So let me just ask, can we agree on one thing as we close this question out? Break up Google, yes?
Definitely.
All right, we got an agreement. Thanks, RB.
Okay, so damn it, bro, two communists speaking to each other, terrible.
No, Charlie. No, more regulation is not going to help the situation.
Oh, no.
It's just going to make it worse.
I thought the video was going to be based. I mean, he was sort of based, but he agreed with a Marxist at the end. Come on, that's diabolical.
Well, the problem with a lot of these Republicans is that they don't realize how socialist that they are. You know what I mean? Yeah. They think that because they support capitalism, in more than they do socialism. They don't full on support capitalism like we do. But they, they support semi-capitalism. They support capitalism more than capitalists, and but we just need a little bit of government regulation just to make sure things get, and just in case a monopoly gets way too big. But they don't address what actually creates these monopolies, which would be patents and this and this and that. And these people actually support, a lot of conservatives, they actually support patents and a lot of these regulations. So that create these monopolies.
Which is terrible.
Yeah. 2 points that he actually made there implicitly, right? So he mentioned the exploitation, right? So he concedes to a false premise, the Marxists pose. I think that's the problem. He concedes to the premises about capitalism.
The exploitation thing,
he's being pragmatic there. But like, transactions are not exploitative. Every transaction, especially voluntary ones, right? Like voluntary transactions, right, involve two winners.
Yeah, mutually benefit. Yeah.
If I buy a hot dog, the vendor gained, I gained the hot dog. We both benefited what we wanted. If I eat the hot dog and then get a stomachache, right, I will perceive that as if benefiting less, right? I will feel scammed, but that is only after the fact that I reevaluated the gain. Right, that's the risk I undertook in this transaction. Right, somebody will sometimes benefit more than they anticipated, and sometimes less, but everybody's a winner. Right?
Yes, but I think the Marxists are saying that the capitalist sort of has leverage over the workers because the capitalists have all this accumulated like capital and wealth, and the workers are sort of reliant on a wage, and they'll say, "Oh, that's exploitation." Like, no, I don't think that's exploitation. I think that's just nature, in that we're sort of born into the world with poverty, and then we have to accumulate wealth from poverty. We don't spawn by default with prosperity, right? So
you have to generate wealth.
But Kirk is conceding to this premise in this video. He's conceding the premise that that actually is a thing. And then there is the other thing I wanted to mention is protectionism. Like he concedes he implicitly, I think, like, a lot of jobs are going overseas. That's a bad thing. How?
Yeah, if jobs are going overseas and we're buying overseas products, then the people in America are benefiting, right? They're getting those products. I mean, I don't see
they're getting it at a lower price than they would otherwise buy if it was made in the United States. That's, I mean, listen, if you look at people, people can say, "Oh, I think it's wrong that China's screwing us over." But the only way that China could be making more money from us is if people in America are buying their product as opposed to buying American. And if people are buying Chinese products as opposed to American products, then they're saying with their money, they're putting their money where their mouth is, and basically saying, "Hey, I'd rather have these Chinese products than the American products because they're cheaper and better than what is made in America." And you know what? This allows American companies to focus on what they're good at. You know what I mean? Which is creating all of this new technology and good stuff that we're actually
think about
good
it. If you're buying something cheaper from an overseas supplier, then that means you have more money because you spent less money. So you have more money now to invest in your own company. It's in your own country and companies if you want to.
Yeah, bro. Captain Ancap here.
I'd like to point out I like to point out the fact of like producing bananas. You can say whatever you want about banana republics, right? But the thing that everybody must acknowledge is that America is not good at producing bananas. Should we incentivize, should we protect domestic producers of bananas over imports of bananas now?
Come on, American bananas are a national pride. We need to monopolize. We need regulations to prevent people from competing with the banana market. Okay, this is very
well. We do that with sugar. In fact, in the United States, we pay about double the amount for the sugar that than we would normally pay because we're propping up using all of this government funds to prop up all of these American sugar creating companies when they're really not that good. If we bought our sugar from another country and imported it, we would be way better off because we're paying way less for sugar. Everybody's going to be paying way less for sugar and all of these goods that use sugar are going to be way cheaper now. And that makes everybody better.
We need to. No, it's okay to pay more. We need to pay more to support our domestic suppliers. Come on,
of course. Those people are fucking benefiting. Right? But then all the people who are buying sugar in the United States that are getting fucked over, we gotta pay more.
What, KingSithis, you don't want to pay $1 million for a basket of sugar? Come on.
Hell no.
Come on. We need to pay $1 million. Come on. We need to support the Americans. Come on.
What's next,
man?
I gotta I gotta pay a 20 cents to put toast in my freaking toaster.
Yeah, you need a license too.
Yeah.
We need to support domestic American diamond production, okay? You don't understand this, but this industry is very endangered. You know, we have no domestic diamond producers.
Yeah.
That's very terrible.
So, I mean, but the problem is you can't really force domestic diamond producers because we don't have any place that creates diamonds in the United States, as far as I can tell.
Exactly. That is exactly my point.
Yeah.
It's like some places are better at producing grains, bananas, steel, coal, technology than the U.S.
Yeah.
If the U.S. can't compete with price, then it's not worth the investment.
Yeah.
Do something else.
It's better if we focus on things that we are actually good at doing, as opposed to trying to prop up businesses that aren't as efficient as other companies. And we could be saving tons of money by buying from those companies, but instead we're being forced to pay these extra charges to buy from these American companies, which end up harming everybody, even people with excess income, you know?
Yeah, we're literally decreasing our wealth instead of like saving more money and investing in more value productive means. Oh, well, we're just gonna waste money. Great, wasting money. Great idea. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. And
yeah, rest in peace.
He did not deserve what happened to him. Yeah, that was fucked up.
Sadly,
I'm glad
he could have been. He could have been a libertarian. He could have been. I think he is. I think he genuinely believed in freedom. That's beautiful. These people.
That is.
Mm-hmm.
It's very saddening.
I think he meant well. You know what I'm saying? For the most part.
Yeah.
He was a Christian. He believed in freedom very much. I feel like if he maybe listened to anarcho-capitalist ideology, he would be a little bit more on our side. But the problem is we don't always get to everybody, you know. When I've been a libertarian for years, you know, and I didn't know anything about anarcho-capitalism until like maybe till a year or so ago. And then
was it Liquid Zulu that introduced you?
Yeah, it was Liquid Zulu. Yes, his videos.
Yeah, same. Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about. I thought first, I thought anarcho-capitalism was a joke ideology. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think anybody actually believed in it. But when I saw his videos and I saw his explanations, I was just like, wow, I've never even heard these arguments before, and it changed my mind. Definitely.
Yeah, there's a serious intellectual discipline behind anarcho-capitalism. There's Mises, Rothbard. There's the entire Austrian school. There's other scholars. I mean, there's other anarchists who are sort of like supportive, at least adjacent to the ideology. So it's not just a meme. It's definitely if anything, I would say it's. I mean, Austrian economics probably just the most rigorous economic system.
It's been around for a while, and it's a really, you know, I didn't even know the Austrian school. I assumed that the Chicago school was the libertarian school. You know what I'm saying?
But the Chicagoites are kind of statist, but yeah.
Because, you know, I when I got introduced to, you know, like a lot of the libertarian guys, it was of course, you know, Thomas Sowell, and then Milton Friedman. I didn't even know he had a son until recently, until I started studying anarcho-capitalism. But you know, all those guys, I would listen to their audiobooks, and I really enjoyed those guys. So I assumed that the libertarians supported the Chicago school. But then when I watched Liquid Zulu's videos, it was just, and then he introduced me to the Austrian school. It put me down like a completely different rabbit hole. When you think that, you know, it's kind of a crazy part of life when you think that you've understood pretty much everything that you need to know about a certain subject, and then you discover something new that completely puts you down a new rabbit hole of understanding that you didn't even have a grasp of before. And that's how it was when I understood started reading into the Austrian school. It completely changed my mind, and now I love the Austrian school, and I'm an Austrian, myself.
Yeah, it brings so much clarity. Yeah.
So
your whole world shatters, basically.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, you start spotting little inconsistencies and little lies in everybody's arguments.
Yeah.
Like, what I like about the Ancap sphere in general, because I talk to a lot of Ancaps and a lot of people in general, is that the rigor doesn't just extend to like the scholars, right? Like the whole community. People call that infighting, but it's very good because it keeps it from like becoming this echo chamber where we're like disconnected from everybody else. And there's a rigor so that the bad arguments, like if you made a very poor argument for anarcho-capitalism, or like Milton Friedman, right, is not an anarcho-capitalist, and every anarcho-capitalist basically disowns him, and I think that's a good thing because it keeps us consistent. Like we know what we're talking about. This is the idea. This does not fall in line with the ideology, which makes it very. It's not as viral in a spread, I think.
Well, yes, because most people aren't.
The only reason I really got into the whole thing was because of the lockdowns. Basically, if the lockdowns never happened, I don't think I would have ever been.
Yeah, me too. I think I only started reading Thomas Sowell and going into this like libertarian rabbit hole during the lockdowns. I think that was like just reading. I think the first book from Thomas Sowell I read was Discriminations and Disparities, and then I think I read Basic Economics, and I was like, whoa, the government intervention just ruins civilization. Damn.
Yeah, I read Basic Economics. That was my first economics book. And I really opened my eyes. And then I read his other book, Black Rednecks and White Liberals, which I thought was a pretty damn good book. Then I read pretty much like all of his major books, which was, Discrimination, Disparities, Applied Economics, and some other books too. He's really good, man.
Yeah,
Henry Helsnit, the Economics in One Lesson. That book.
But that is a good book. Yes,
I love that book. You know what's a good book that I really like? My first ANCAP book was this book, A Spontaneous Order. I like this book. I like that book.
Oh, by who? Who made that book?
Chase Rachels. That's his name. Yeah.
Oh.
It's a pretty good book.
I don't think I've ever read it.
Yeah. Also, there's this book by Liquid Zulu.
Oh.
Libertarian Law. That's for free. You can find it on GitHub. It's
the fundamentals of libertarian law. I bought this from. This isn't his actual. This isn't a book that he actually sells. Somebody made this. His basically his course. There we go. They took his course and they turned it into a book, and I bought it. So yeah, but it's a little bit messed up. You know what I mean? It's like if you look at the thing. But the actual book itself has the whole course on it, which I think was pretty cool. So that's why I bought it, and I thought it was, yeah. But I did actually pay for his course, and I did listen to it actually, which I thought was a pretty good course.
I just read it for free.
Yeah, you could read it for free, or you could buy it, but I bought it because I like listening to the book.
Yeah, we should probably drop a link somewhere. Maybe we should make a sources. Or well, you should.
Well, I mean, just go on YouTube. And for anyone who doesn't know Liquid Zulu, just go on YouTube, look up Liquid Zulu, and on there you should be able to see his whatever, all his links and good stuff on there. But if anything, I'll put a link in the description after this.
Well, if they're watching this video, they probably know who Liquid Zulu is.
I hope so. I would hope so. Yeah, I like Charlie Kirk. I don't agree with everything that he says, but I think that it was completely immoral, fucked up, wrong. What do you call it? I disavow what that guy did to him in every sense of the word. We should not have to worry. We should be allowed to be able to do events without having to worry about getting shot. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We should be allowed to have conversations with other people who disagree with you without having to worry about being harmed or having to put like a bulletproof glass in front of us. And that goes for any side. And I know that there's a lot of people on the right side that are really, really angry about this, right? And I feel like this affected a lot of us a different way, especially fans of him, because we actually got to see graphically what happened to him. And when you see and the people who were there, they saw it like literally right in front of their face.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like this definitely affected a lot of people a lot differently than a lot of other tragedies, because people actually got to legitimately see what happened. And also, like, when you see what the woman who got stabbed in the neck, I feel like that definitely affected a lot of people too.
Yeah,
because people got to graphically see what happened, you know? And, you know, I know that there's a lot of people getting really angry and may want to do something violent, but my opinion is that I think that we should continue to stay nonviolent, follow the non-aggression principle to the letter, and never deviate from the non-aggression principle under any circumstance. Using violence is just going to make your side look worse. If you look at the left side right now, they are not looking good. People are getting fired from their jobs for making jokes about people. And all those people who are getting fired from their jobs who are making jokes about this situation, I think they deserve it, because fundamentally that is fucked up. You may know, you don't have to like the guy. You don't have to cheer on. You don't have to cry about the guy. You don't even have to be sad about it. But it's best to, if you don't have anything nice to say at this moment, it's best to just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. Don't trivialize an assassination. Like, that could be you, or that could be your family member, you know?
Yeah, because in the end of the day, people get upset whenever it comes to people that they love. Whenever it comes to a situation where it's a person that they like, whether it's a family member or a YouTuber that they like, when you go out there and you make jokes about it at the expense of that person who passed away tragically, you know, people are going to have a harsh reaction to it. People are going to look at you really, really fucked up. And I think there's a reason for that, because people have empathy. People feel bad for the people that they love and they care about. So I think that if you're a person on the other side and you're making jokes at the expense of Charlie Kirk right now, I think you should be very careful, because people don't really find that to be funny. A lot of people don't find that to be cool, including myself. I don't find that to be cool. I'm not going to lie. When I see these jokes
it's not cool,
and these memes, I can't help but cringe a little bit. You know, I get you guys are trying to be funny, but in the end of the day, it's going to upset people.
It's not just humor. It's people who, it's some radical ideologues who genuinely think that Charlie Kirk's death wasn't a bad thing. It was like, okay, some people think he was a Nazi. Some people think he was like a terrible person, and they don't feel sympathy for his death. And well, first of all, he's not a Nazi or those things that people ascribe him to be, but he was just like he was just a Christian man with children. Like he was just an American dude that you could barbecue with, and it's like, you know, he got shot. You can't be so. Yeah,
it just fundamentally, like, he didn't do anything that I would argue would deem him worthy of being shot. As far as I could tell, he wasn't a politician. He wasn't part of the government. He was just a political figure on the internet. And it's just so fucked up for any person to cheer on another person getting shot, getting harmed, getting killed.
For sure.
I mean, even if he was Nick Fuentes or somebody extreme on the right, I wouldn't wish that upon anyone, to be shot like that in front of their family.
I mean, I wouldn't even wish for someone to be punched in the face. I mean, just for having an opinion and being able to consistently defend it, you know? Like, maybe if someone's being annoying and they're making false arguments, I might punch him in the face. But, you know, come on, this guy's logical. He's being, he's articulating his beliefs well. He has a consistent philosophy that you can ask him about and that you can challenge him on in public. Like, just shooting him or wanting to shoot him, I think that's very cowardly, and it's terrible. It's morally terrible.
And, you know, I hear a lot of people who make the argument like, oh, well, this guy at this time said this, making fun of this group of people when they died, so therefore it's okay for us to make fun of them when they die. But it's just like, do you really want to sink yourself down to their level? If you think it's fucked up when that person is, like, for instance, people make the argument, oh, they were making fun of Nancy Pelosi's husband getting broken into. If they were doing so, yeah, that's fucked up too, and that's messed up. But does that then make it okay for you to then turn around and do the exact same thing? Well, no, it just makes you just as bad as that person. You can't sit here on your high horse and be like, haha, it's okay for me to do it, but that other person also did it. No, that just makes both of you really fucked up, and in that situation. So I think people shouldn't sink to other people's level.
I also don't think a break-in is the same level as an assassination. I don't think they're very two different things. Like, I don't know why, I don't know about the Nancy Pelosi situation, but if it was like, oh, people are making fun of him for being broken into because, like, they supported, I don't know, immigration or something, and an immigrant broke in. There's some irony here that's funny, but I don't think there's any irony in getting killed. Like that's not the place to find comedy.
Well, I mean, the guy, like, yeah, sure, it's all under investigation currently. It's a hot topic right now, so I don't know in particular, but basically, I just have to point out the fact that these people fundamentally do not agree on core principles, and they believe that that he is a fascist or whatever, and so he is an enemy, and you can't really spare your enemies.
Well, yes, but I don't think I don't think it's really ideological. Well, it is ideological on the surface, but I think deep down these are.
I think it's completely ideological because people like to pretend as if morality is universal. Like, moral universalism doesn't work, and people implicitly know that, right? People who do not share the same values, right? You cannot agree with them. They're not reciprocal, right? You cannot. It's not immoral for a lion to eat the gazelle. What's good for the lion is bad for the gazelle, right? And this is what these people think when they look at him. They think, okay, he's a fascist, and that's their idea. So I think that some people who, not necessarily, like, you can make jokes, right? But some people who would support this kind of action, because argument is the most peaceful way of resolving conflicts, right? And now you want to create a conflict physically. I think these people are literally America's enemies.
They're barbarians. They're primitives.
What these guys did to Charlie Kirk, these people are our enemies. Any person that cheers on what that person did to Charlie Kirk, that thinks it's a joke, that wants to make memes about it, that wants to make t-shirts of literally Charlie Kirk, what happened to him, how graphic that was. If you're going to sit there and make a t-shirt about it and wear that t-shirt unironically as a joke, you guys are our enemies. You guys are immoral. You guys need to be I don't even want to say. You guys are immoral. That's all I could say.
Yeah.
I mean, also, Wizard, you made a good conceptual point about how well people, I guess technically, would you say that morals aren't universal? And you're saying, like, okay, this person's in a different tribe, therefore he's my enemy, therefore I should shoot him. Is that what are you saying that some radicals are thinking in that way?
Well, how else do you explain Antifa?
Okay, then I understand. But I was gonna say, okay, your conceptual point is fine, but I think underlying these ideologies is mental illness. It's a resentment against humanity, or a resentment against the self, or some sort of discontentment with the world that they feel have to be like expressed in this like revolutionary struggle. It's what,
you know what I think it is. Personally, I think it's just a false sense of self-righteousness. That's what I think it is. I think
that's part of it. Yes, for sure.
I think these people sort of convince themselves that they're on the right side and that they're on the right side of history, that they're like the people in the civil rights movement. And you know what I'm saying? Like marching alongside the people on the right side of history, right? And they're not. You know, they're just making things worse.
Yeah, they think they're the Unionists with Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah,
or something.
I think these people legitimately believe that they're right in their ideology, and that they're doing something right, and that it's perfectly okay. Imagine if, like, God forbid, something were to happen, like AOC, the same thing were to happen to someone like AOC or some left-wing politician or something like that. Do you think I'm gonna, I'm not a socialist lover. Do you think I'm gonna come on here and celebrate her death or something terrible like that happening to her? Hell no. No. I'm gonna be like, whoa, this is fucked up. This is not a joke. Like, people need to cool down. Like, everything that I'm saying here for Charlie Kirk, I would be saying for her, or any left-wing politician, because in the end of the day,
for sure,
there's no need for this political violence. There's plenty of other ways of dealing of pushing your message. And the thing about Charlie Kirk was, if you didn't agree with what he had to say, you can go and talk to him. He was literally at an event where you could go and literally speak to him and show that, oh, you think he's wrong? Here's your chance to show he's wrong. All of this stuff is taped. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And instead, that person decided to shoot him. And yeah, it's fucked up.
Well, I'm glad, there's only 3 of us here, but I'm glad we picked this side of history, I'm glad we were here, because I didn't want to miss this meeting,
Yeah. I'm glad we're on the side of history that don't think it's okay to shoot people because you disagree with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Call us crazy, man. Call us, crazy. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we head out of here?
Not really. I'm just glad we showed up,
Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk.
I'm happy. I like the guy. And I think that's it for me. I think we covered well, even his arguments. If somebody was smart enough, they would have argued with him instead, but they were cowards. So
you don't have to 100% agree with somebody in order to realize that what happened, that there's in their heart they have good intentions, and that generally they want what's best for people. Some people, they may not understand or even know what anarcho-capitalism is. So it's kind of up to us, anarcho-capitalists, to sort of get out there and spread the word and try to get it to as many people as we can. Because I would not be an anarcho-capitalist if it wasn't for that one YouTube video that I clicked on that Liquid Zulu made. If Liquid Zulu
for sure
if the algorithm didn't send me that YouTube video at that one time, at that perfect moment, I probably would still just be a normal libertarian. So it's up to us to go out there and push the message as much as we can.
Sure, for sure.
All right, guys. So is that it, you guys? Hemlock, you good? You want to say anything else? Or?
Yeah, I'm good. I think we covered it pretty well. Yeah.
All right. Yep. So I hope you guys have a good day. And again, rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. Rest in peace to him. And condolences and best wishes to his family, his wife, and his children. And we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.